The Biden White House doesn't want to answer any questions about the confidential document dilemma. They are even flying Joe Biden out of town so they don't have to have any more press briefings from Karine Jean-Pierre. We've covered many of hers. She has had a difficult time over these past 3 days. And when the president's traveling, they don't really need to even go out there and talk to the press because they're traveling. Instead, what they do these Air Force gaggles where they don't actually answer anything and there's no video. So you just get to hear them bumble around on a very loud airplane. But what is going on at the White House? What is the deal with these confidential documents? Is Biden ever going to answer any questions? Yesterday, we heard that Karine Jean-Pierre was basically done with the press. She said, any questions for the DOJ, go to them. Any questions for me? I don't want them. Take them to the White House counsel. But there was a question that came in from the press about allies and partners. The media had just gotten done being told how catastrophic Donald Trump's possession of top secret documents was, and how this could be so detrimental to our world allies, our leaders across the globe. And so Karine got asked that same question. Now that Biden's documents that are top secret and that might involve national security affairs of foreign nations, are you going to reassure them?
Take another stab at it, but we don't know what's in these documents, but can the U.S. and is the U.S. working to reassure allies and partners that you can still participate in intelligence gathering and still be trusted with secrets? Are those conversations that the president is having right now, or that top of administration officials are having, for example, Jake Sullivan in Israel?
I'm going to say this. The president takes classified information seriously. You heard that directly from him. To classified documents seriously. You heard that directly from him last week. And I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to open this up for discussion. We have answered many questions as it is related to the documents. Any specifics that's related to this review, this legal process, I would refer to the Department of Justice.
All right, so no answers, no question. What about allies? No answers from Karine. So we ask our Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, what about our allies? What about the national security implications of these documents? You people were screaming about it when Trump allegedly did this. What about now?
Answers on specific questions from the White House press secretary, but that's not the only place that there are a lack of answers on this issue of the Biden documents. Here's the Secretary of State.
Secretary Blinken, do you have an issue with how the president handled classified documents?
Good to see you.
Excuse me. Do you think it's a national security threat that multiple classified documents were found in President Biden's Wilmington house?
No. Now watch his face. He knows what's coming. You can see he's got a smile. He just knows he got ambushed. He's like, oh, she got me. As soon as he makes eye contact right here, here's Antony Blinken is the Secretary of State. And he looks over at this Fox reporter, and she was pissed yesterday. She said that the White House had turned into a black hole. She was talking about, certain individuals over there, and it got a little bit spicy on, got to be careful here. And so she is feisty, she's wants answers, man. She's angry. And as soon as he makes eye contact with her, he starts that smirk. Watch the smirk. He goes, uh-oh, busted. Oh, man. And then you see it right there. Look at that smirk right there. You can see it. Oh, he knows he's busted. He's going to get questioned. He's smirking. He's not going to answer. And then he says, good to see you. All right, let's listen again.
Secretary Blinken, do you have an issue with how the president handled classified documents?
Good to see you.
Excuse me. Do you think it's a national security threat that multiple...
And then he's on his phone. Look at this guy. What are you checking Twitter here? Look at this. What is this? What are you on there?
Threat.
Probably. Oh, there it is. What is that? Is that a message to Joe Biden? Is that a confidential document? Oh, gosh.
That multiple classified documents were found in President Biden's Wilmington house.
All right. So that's what we got out of the White House. Now, they're traveling. Joe Biden's on an airplane. So they are doing the gaggles now. Karine Jean-Pierre, she is still, getting a massage or something from all of the abuse she's taken from the press over the last few days. And so they sent out this person. Her name is Olivia Dalton. And she gets asked on Air Force One about these documents because the media is not done with this. They might be done with it, but the media isn't.
Does the White House have any problem with the Penn Biden Center sharing information such as visitor logs with the House Oversight Committee?
I appreciate the question, and I think, we realize you all have many questions on this. We believe and we continue to say that they are most appropriately handled by the White House counsel's office, so I'd have to refer you to them on this.
Referrals again.
Pledge to cooperate with the House Oversight Committee for any requests that they may make. That's an easy one.
Again, I have to refer you to White House counsel's office on this.
You can't even give a simple pledge that, of course, we're going to cooperate with an oversight committee in Congress.
White House counsel's office also engages with oversight, and I would refer you to my colleagues in counsel's office on that.
A request from the House Oversight Committee?
Again, I just need to refer you to my colleague to handle.
Zero answers. So the House Oversight Committee is now in charge of this. They're going to be asking you questions. Are you going to cooperate with Congress? Yes or no? Talk to the White House counsel. You can't even tell us. Nope, can't tell you.
You mentioned that tomorrow is 2 years since the president took office. It's also 6 years since he left office as vice president. Can you guarantee that the president no longer has any classified or official records in his possession anymore from his time as vice president?
Again, I need to refer you to White House counsel's office on any questions on this.
Again, I need to refer you. So they can't even, the White House can't even say that we have no more additional documents, right? They can't even answer that because they're not being transparent at all. Now, a lot of people in the media have issues with this, including this woman. She's over from NPR. And as we've been following Karine Jean-Pierre around the press briefing room, we've seen her, like a broken record, say the same thing over and over and over and over again. But we often don't know what happens outside of those press briefing rooms. Remember, Karine told us that there was a separate call with White House counsel that was a big whopper of 45 minutes. And the media wasn't very happy about that. They said, okay, that's great. He talked about the economy and the border. But how about answers to our questions? This woman is on CNN and she is a reporter over at NPR. And she says, yeah, we're not getting any access at all.
I mean, I think that there's a frustration, I can say, generally speaking, I'm not overgeneralizing, amongst many reporters, because there has been, I think, a sense that that the White House has not been as forthcoming as journalists would like with the information and the timeline. I mean, the first batch of documents were discovered shortly after the midterms. That was not disclosed until CBS broke the story.
Yeah. So NPR is frustrated. CBS is frustrated. Everybody's frustrated. Even CNN is running some interesting stories about this, except this one. You know, CNN is sort of, the pendulum is swinging both ways. We learned earlier in this week that CNN had a montage, sort of a segment where they were kind of ripping on Joe Biden and his affairs with James and Hunter. And we thought, wow, welcome to the party, pal. We've been talking about this for years now. And they're just running stories. And it's sort of like they're supporting the removal of Biden kind of a thing. We're going, this is weird. Where did this all happen? Like a light switch went on. But then you turn over to news anchors like this. She's on CNN and she identifies differently. She thinks this is all much ado about nothing. Okay, these are the types of clips that a lot of conservatives got skewered for. Let's listen.
All right, this morning we got some new CNN reporting about how just common it could be for classified documents to be outside of the protected places and spaces they're supposed to be in. Experts in this matter say it is known as classified spillage. And in most cases, there are simple mistakes that are not typically charged as crimes. CNN's Katie Bo-Lillis has been looking into this, and she joins us now.
Did you hear that? Sometimes it's just spillage. People just have documents around. You know, they just sometimes it happens. It's called spillage. There's experts about this, and it happens all the time. And those people, they don't get charged with crimes. Spillage, man. And it's funny that when they're talking about this in context of Joe Biden, why are they using a Trump document image? So are you saying that Trump should, is this spillage? This looks like spillage to me. I mean, the FBI spilled the documents all over the floor, literally. So they are, I guess this is okay. Spillage of classified info is common. Washington's little secret. And they are talking about, they put Trump's photo up there. So I guess this is not a big deal then? It's not that big of a deal that Trump did it? What? Where's Joe Biden's photo, by the way? Why didn't they take a photo of his documents on the garage next to Hunter's crack pipes? and put that here for us. They have to use this document, this photo, because it makes Trump look bad. That's why they put it up there. But they're actually putting it in the context of a chyron down here at the bottom that it's actually very useful to Trump. The spillage is common. It's all over the place.
Spaces there's. All right, this morning we got some new CNN reporting about how just common it could be for classified documents to be outside of the protected places and spaces they're supposed to be in. Experts in this matter say it is known as classified spillage. And in most cases, there are simple mistakes that are not typically charged as crimes. CNN's Katie Bo-Lillis has been looking into this, and she joins us now. All right, Katie, this has been a big question, of course, not just in light of what happened with Trump's documents, but also now with Biden. You know, is it an accepted thing? How common is this? What has your reporting found?
Yeah, Caitlin, this kind of classified spillage happens almost literally every day. And most of the time, it's completely accidental. An employee accidentally takes home a classified document in a briefcase. In one example that we were told, the employee found a classified document that had been accidentally attached to an unclassified travel itinerary. He slept with it under his pillow for a night, returned it the next day, and that was that. Most of these cases are dealt with administratively, internally, with a simple conversation with the security officer at the agency.
That's it. Just a simple phone call, man. That's what Biden's lawyers were trying to do. Oh, man, you're not going to believe this. Joe Biden took that thing home in his briefcase that one time again. Oh, that's it? Well, we know what to do with that. No problem at all. That's called a cover-up. And CNN is providing the cover for the cover-up. They are explaining, it's just a common thing, not even a big deal. You know, it's like sometimes you forget where you put the receipt, you know, and sometimes you got to track it down. That's all that happens. These librarians sometimes get a little bit overwhelmed with all the confidential documents that are flying all over the place.
In question. Now, of course, in more severe cases, there can be penalties such as losing your security clearance or even
like
being
raiding
fired.
your house.
But part of the reason this is so common, Caitlin, is simply the law of large numbers. There are over 4 million security clearance holders floating around out there. And some national security officials will also acknowledge that the U.S. government has a pretty big problem with overclassification. There are just millions and millions and millions of pieces of classified information, not all of which are exquisite.
Yeah, so spillage or overclassification, both things that are very relevant now that Joe Biden's being the person investigated. But none of that was really appropriate anywhere else when it was Donald Trump. Not that conversation at all. How much overclassification conversation do we get from these people? Do you think that every one of those documents in Trump's residence was needing to be classified? Okay, we've made jokes about all this the whole time. Library books, they're letters from Kim Jong-un and stuff. It's not just that they are overclassifying things and that they have spillage. They're also incompetent, my friends. They're also the federal government. They're not good at almost anything. So why would you expect them to keep track of these documents? And is there anything that the Chinese don't already have?
I've heard that from so many officials, Democrats and Republicans talking about that, the idea of just basically everything being classified. Okay, but you talk about this one person who accidentally took something home. They slept with it under their pillow to basically guard it and make sure it was okay.
Arrest that man.
When it comes to the president,
raid his
and now
house.
2 presidents being looked into this, intent, I imagine, plays a massive role in how these things are handled.
That's not what you said when Trump was involved. That's not what you said at all. Because you were all trying to prove intent. Okay, a lot of the lefty lawyers out there are still playing this game. Oh, Trump posted a Truth Social tweet. They say this all over the place. Trump posted a Truth Social tweet, and he said something about the documents, and that means he knew they were there. Therefore, that's intent. Right? So they're trying to prove intent and then disprove intent, and then the Republicans are saying, no, that disproves intent, and then they say the opposite of that. They say, well, he doesn't need intent. Now you just need simple possession of the documents. And so they pick the arguments that they want based upon the person who's being investigated.
Yeah, the question is, when does it go from something that's handled administratively to something that the agency refers to the Justice Department for investigation and possible prosecution? And the answer is there's no hard and fast rule. It really depends on the case itself, the facts and the circumstances. What we have seen in some of these more high-profile cases of prosecution is that intent to mishandle the information is really the key factor here. Did you intend to hoard it, sell it, leak it?
Yeah, Biden didn't do any of those things. He's just a confused gentleman, and he doesn't know much about anything. So the problem with him is that it was just an accident, and it's spillage, and it's probably just simple overclassification anyways, and so nobody needs to worry about it. But we're going to talk about the Secret Service because evidently, according to Fox News, they're telling us that the Secret Service may be wanting now to name names. And we're going to learn more about what those names might involve right after we talk about our friends over at Goldco. Because as you know, things are scary out there. If you have an IRA or a 401k, it's a mess. Biden administration recently has printed more money in the past 2 years than the previous 100 years combined. The national debt hit a record over $30 trillion. Inflation's the highest we've seen since 1982. It's only a matter of time until the house of cards comes crashing down. If you have retirement savings, your money could be at serious risk. Talk to my friends at Goldco. See how you can protect your retirement with gold and silver before it's too late. Go to robertlikesgold.com. They will give you $10,000 or more in free silver when you open a qualifying account at robertlikesgold.com. A+ rated business with the Better Business Bureau. And I do like gold. And I hope you do too. Over at robertlikesgold.com. All right. And so let's continue, my friends, because we have a little bit more to get to. The Secret Service is now saying, we're ready to get involved. We'll jump into this and help out if you need it. Published January 19th from Fox News, they write that the Biden classified document investigation now brings the Secret Service in, and that they are ready to provide Delaware visitors' records. They're prepared to offer the names of individuals who visited the Biden Wilmington residence if requested by Congress, Fox News has learned. And guess who's in charge of Congress now? The Republicans have the House. Retention of the names of those that were vetted by the Secret Service depends on a variety of factors, including proximity to the president and the nature of the background check. They write the Secret Service does not maintain visitor logs at the private residences. While the Secret Service does generate law enforcement and criminal justice information for individuals who might come into contact, we're not able to comment further as this speaks to the means and methods of our operations. However, a source familiar with the situation told Fox News that the Secret Service is prepared to provide available background information on vetted guests to Biden's residence if Congress says so. Here's a picture of the Secret Service securing the president when he's golfing, evidently. Biden ignored reporters on Thursday. Somebody said, "Will you commit to speak to the special counsel?" One reporter said. But Biden did not acknowledge any questions. He just smiled and walked out of the room. So will the Secret Service be involved? Don't know. Congress is in charge. And if Congress demands answers, maybe the Secret Service will give them to them. One person who is in Congress, who's leading a lot of the oversight, is Representative James Comer. And he was on explaining how the Chinese pumped millions of dollars over into the Penn Biden Center for years.
New Penn Biden Center, Congressman?
It's of the utmost importance. I mean, people are just now seeing what we've known for several months is that the Biden Center for Diplomacy was funded almost exclusively through anonymous Chinese donations. And obviously the Chinese want to get a return on their investment.
Yeah.
So they're not just donating money to the Biden Center for Diplomacy, to Hunter's shady business dealings, and now we believe to Hunter's artwork that's going to anonymous buyers in China. They're not just doing this for charity. They're doing this because they want to get a return on their investment. That poses a national security risk. This is something that every American should be concerned about, and that's why we're investigating the Biden family for their influence peddling.
Your committee has evidence that might lead you to believe that anonymous Chinese foreign nationals were buying anonymously Hunter's artwork?
Well, we know that the artwork went anonymously. We know that. We know that the owner of the art gallery in New York City has bragged about becoming the new link between the United States art world and China. So we know that the White House has told the art dealer to not communicate with the oversight committee on anything. Don't even, if they call, hang up. So, you know, you can put the pieces together, but we're obviously going to bring these people in and we're going to interview them, depose them, whatever we have to do under oath. And we'll try to get some answers. We're going to look at all the financial records. We're going to see if, in fact, Hunter Biden was funneling money down to his father. That's going to be very concerning because Hunter's primary source of income, well, I say primary, probably only source of income, were from influence peddling schemes with our adversaries around the world.
Daddy's deals. And Comer says they are coming in hot. Subpoenas, depositions, whatever it takes. We're asking questions of everybody, hoping that they are answering. So we'll see if they adhere to that. We also have another clip from Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, also in the House of Representatives. And she was on responding to some of the latest on the document saga from the Biden administration. Let's listen to her.
No, not at all. And you can see there's a major difference in the leadership with Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House and Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats removed me from committees from things they didn't like on my Facebook years before I became a member of Congress. But you can see that Kevin McCarthy isn't being political. He's removing members of Congress that need to be removed. It's an embarrassment that Eric Swalwell had a sexual relationship with a CCP spy and then was serving on the Intel committee. It's unbelievable.
Look at these two just enjoying this certificate together. Very, very interesting
that happened. And then we have Adam Schiff, how he has lied and lied to the American people and abused the American people's taxpayer dollars with his lies with the Russia hoax. He never deserved power on that committee, and he shouldn't have been on the January 6th committee either. So Kevin McCarthy, as Speaker of the House, is doing the right thing and removing these Democrat members that deserve to be removed. Ilhan Omar is another example.
Oh.
She's anti-Semitic, and she should not be on foreign affairs. These aren't political things. These are the right things to do.
Let me ask you, really, what were hyperbole of furlough and then get paid?
Out that Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Mitch McConnell, all of who have served, if you add up the years they've been in Congress or in power in Washington, we're looking at 150 years of four people's combined time in Washington. So they know what they're doing when they kick the can down the road.
Yeah, they
giving
do. They're good.
The debt ceiling issue to the Republican majority, which we started here in January.
They are good. They're very smart about this. Like, why did this debt ceiling thing literally land on the Republicans in January? Obviously, right? Now, they sort of had a suspicion the Republicans were going to win. They kicked it down the road, so it'd be a new Congress. Boom, the Republicans have to negotiate or do something about it.
It's an important issue for our conference to come together on because, as you said, the government will keep on running. Yes, people's Social Security checks will keep coming. Military will keep getting paid. Important things will keep happening and keep getting paid. But we have to do a good job as a Republican conference. It's a serious issue. And the spending in Washington that's happened for decades now with both parties is the reason why we're in this terrible place. And Republicans are committed to work on the budget. We want to get it under control. We want it to be balanced, and we want to reduce the national debt. But the debt ceiling is going to be a point of contention in our conference, but it's going to have to be one that we come together on. We aren't going to send something to the Senate to make it to Joe Biden's desk to be signed, and we want to make sure that we have things in there that we have to have. I, for one, will not sign a clean bill raising the debt limit.
All right. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene. So we've got some individuals in Congress making some pretty serious changes. One of them is demanding the removal of Ilhan Omar. And she had a response to this. She was asked about this when she was on MSNBC. Are they removing you?
Is that correct? You are currently not. You do not currently have a committee assignment.
So no committee assignments have been divvied out on the Democratic side and on the majority of the Republican side as well.
What is your response to
the steering committee has not actually done that. What I do want the public to understand is that since I've gotten sworn in 2019, my first term, McCarthy has been promising to his donors and the Republican base that I should not sit on the Foreign Affairs Committee.
And looks like that's probably going to happen. So that is what we'll await to see. New assignments have come out, and we'll see what the Republicans do. Of course, we'll continue to follow. And thank you for liking this video wherever it is you're watching it and subscribing, because we look forward to seeing you on the next one.